All right, man, we're recording.
All right.
What's up, man? What's up, Timmy Hall? How are you?
What's up, the famous Mr. DeMayo? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing as good as you know what my saying is right now. Trying to stay positive, man. That's
Man,
my new saying.
all you can do.
It's anytime somebody, how you doing? I'm just trying to stay positive, man. Which is a crock of shit.
It
The
is.
problem is you can't really tell anybody what's wrong because they have their own problems too.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, you right.
So let me introduce you to my audience and tell you what's going on here, okay?
All right.
First of all, I have a podcast with my partner, Bill Cannon. It's called Police Off the Cuff. And, you know, we talk to cops, a lot of cops from New York City, detectives who had big cases and shootings and stuff. We've had prosecutors, journalists, medical examiners, psychiatrists, you name it, man. But we also had this, we have a Patreon page now. So we're also, giving content to our Patreon customers.
Mm-hmm.
So Bill has a show. He does a true crime show where he breaks down like cases and stuff, like homicides and stuff. And I'm like you, man. I didn't give a shit about any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was a comedian. You know what I'm saying? You know, I watched your act. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, it was a job. What's the line that you have about the? Go ahead. What's the opening line?
Which one? Oh, which
The
one?
famous line.
I'm there for the benefits of the credit union.
There you go, right there. I'm there for the benefits.
I'm there for the benefits of the credit union. That's it.
I love that line, man. That's a great, great line. Yeah, so mine is basically trying to find really cool people and great people that also have a connection to law enforcement. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and the
right.
fact that, you were a Baltimore. Are you still on the job now?
No, I'm retired. I'm retired.
How long you been retired now?
5 years now.
Yeah, right. It doesn't it isn't it, like for me. It's I think it's my 8th year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always like you're always getting a little further away. Like, for example, perfect example, you get pulled over on a car stop. When you first got out, you're like, yo, man, what's up, man? You just tin them, and now you're like, oh, you're like reluctantly bringing out the shit. Yeah, I used to be a cop once back in the day.
I just had to be last week. I got pulled over coming in from New York from a show. Scared me. And the thing was, that scared me was, the gun permit you're supposed to have is Leosa to carry your gun all around the country. Mine expired, but I had my gun in my glove compartment because I was coming from work and I got home. I forgot. I was so scared because I was going to jail. That state trooper, the guy we were looking at my car. Thank God my badge saved me.
Yeah.
So he looked at the car, but I was, it's just like, I'm nervous now. Before I got pulled, I wasn't nervous. I'm nervous now.
Yeah, if you're on especially even if you're just retired, you still have that little. And then before you know it, you just like you don't even like. You have to like when you see young cops, and they're all so young now too.
Yeah, very young.
I mean, you're looking at babies, man. I'm walking in the street, and sometimes, most of the time, I don't do it. But if I'm in a fucking good mood for some reason, and I'm standing next to 2 cops at a light, I'm like, yeah, I was on the job. I'm retired or whatever.
But it's so funny that we look at these cops and we call them young because remember we were young too.
Yeah.
So cops have changed. They're different now than when I came on. But now to remember when I came on, I was different to the other veterans. I was a different type of cop to them. So I got to kind of give them some leeway because
we had this
policing changes.
We had this author on the show the other day. He wrote this book called My Father's Gun. Mm-hmm. Brian McDonald, really funny, great guy, great writer. And it's a story about 300 years of law enforcement in his family. His grandfather, his father, and then his brother. Mm-hmm. And the grandfather came on like 1899 or some shit like that. And I was like, so I said to him, I said, yeah. And when he came on in 1899, somebody who was already on the job goes to him, I don't even know why you took this job. It's going to shit. Job's always going to shit, man.
He wasn't lying, was he?
No, fucking job is always going to shit, man.
On the shit now.
How much time did you wind up doing?
23.
Okay, that's good.
How much time you end up doing?
20.
20 and out, huh?
Yeah, that was the name of my one-man show, 20 and out.
20 and out. That's a great name for it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about this. Like, should I have stayed to do the 25? And I'm like, in hindsight, everything when you're short on money, especially during these times right now.
I know, but what's better, peace of mind or money?
Yeah, I mean, I was just the idea that I could just get out and do comedy full time.
Well, where'd you leave? When you left, what department did you leave from? What were you, detective?
Yeah, I worked in with the NYPD. I was a detective, and at the end, which made it tough to leave, I had it made, bro. I was in the training unit, man.
Oh, yep,
I was
you had it easy.
I was an instructor for the last 5 years.
Wow.
You know, I used to do in-service trading. I used to coordinate the homicide class. I didn't go out in the street I didn't see a case. I just talked about it.
Mm. See, me, I was in warrant apprehension task force
I was in
with the
ones
marshal.
too, but how do you guys work over there, Warrant Squad?
Very hard, but what you mean? It's very. I mean,
What
we
time you start in the morning?
you assign different cases as far as like we had different units. We had the homicide unit, then you had like the domestic violence unit, then you had the child sex offender units. We had different units, but basically you all worked together. It was a homicide unit, and a hot case came in. Everybody stopped what they're doing just for that one case, you know. Yeah, that's all. But you work with the marshals, and they had cases. They come over. Then you had, everybody come over. You know, then of course you had fugitive squad that traveled to get the prisoners from other places. Yeah, the unit was wonderful. I just got burned out. That's all.
That was my favorite place to work.
Mine too.
When I was because the hours were great for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
We were working in the morning, like starting at like 5 o'clock in the morning. We'd start.
I'll do one. Mine as well.
Yeah, I remember by noontime, bro, hitting a fucking wall. Like wherever I was, I would just be like,
yeah.
I had to sleep for an hour.
Me too. But the good thing is, pretty much by 11:30 you were done. You weren't gonna do anything else.
Yeah. Like you were done anyway. We're done with court. I don't know how it works in Baltimore, but as soon as we grabbed the body, there wasn't really no arrest processing. We didn't print them, nothing like that. They were just going to court on the warrant. And
really?
That's why it was so good to work there, because when I caught a case, it was just like this one sheet of paper, a blue sheet, we called it. And you just wrote where you hit, what time. Some people kept it vague just in case, like the next time you get the warrant. I'm not going to give you where to fucking get them. So I had that shit in my notes. People got like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you would think that the information would be flowing. It's like, nah, that dude he's going to pop again real soon. I'm going to get him again.
Right. No, we had to go take him with central booking and just, had to wait. It was a longer process. It would have been an easier process just to take him to court. I wish we could have just took him right to court. It would have been easier. But it just took you lock him up and then you got another hour and a half to do all the processing part of it, which is just stupid in a way. We can take him straight to court and have the courts just look at it and give him a bail or no, but at that point, it was just too long. But I mean, the best part of the job, I guess, was the fulfillment. When you did warrants, you didn't have to worry about going to court. You didn't have to worry about conviction. Once you caught them, you were fulfilled. Your job was done. You didn't care about the other portion of it. Yeah. I was in drugs for years, and I hated it because, you go to get a drug case, you do surveillance, do all this other stuff, and you go to court and they drop everything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But with warrants, you didn't have to worry about it. Once you caught them, you could care less because you had nothing to do with
court. Having to go to court, having to switch your tour, or, not being able to do what you wanted to do that day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when we used to work, I remember we used to get in the car and be like, what do you got to do? What do you got today?
Right.
And then you tell me what you had to do, and then I would tell you what I had to do. But none of it had to do with police work.
Right.
This was just shit shit that we had to take care of during this tour. You know what I'm saying? I got to go check on my car over here and or pick up a part for this. And then you had to stop at your mother, whatever it was. And then we squeeze in police work somewhere along the line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you had to. So I had to work for comedy with you. How did you, was it hard, I guess, trying to get comedy? When you first started doing, how long you been doing comedy, first of all?
Right now, it's over 20 years now.
I was 25 years in. But when I first started, it was so
hard. How many years you got?
25.
I'm probably like 23.
It was hard because trying to get days off and stuff. So, I mean, I used to, I was at the airport one time. I called in sick. Uh-huh. I'm calling and thinking I'm slick, and you can hear in the background, flight 1447. I was caught. It was done. My sergeant was cool, though. He's like, you at the damn airport, ain't you? I said, yeah, I'm on the way. I had to do a show in L.A. He's like, you at the damn airport. Why you just tell me you're at the airport? Why you lying?
Yeah.
And I had so many times. My grandma probably died 13 times trying to do comedy.
Yeah, I kind of sort of figured out, like, for example, going into the Warrant Squad, for example, right? Uh-huh. That was days. So from the time that I was doing warrants in the precinct level, which was probably 3 years, and the time that I was doing warrants in the detective bureau, that was like 6, 7 years where I was just working steady days. So I always could do comedy at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to the detective squad, and that was a problem. Because that was like, I was definitely going to be working nights. So then I got into the robbery unit of the detective squad. So then this way I could have weekends off at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I could at least make sure that, but so many people helped me along the way. You know what? Out of all the I never missed a show.
Really?
I never missed a show. I got scared every fucking time that it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. Somehow it always worked out.
I missed several shows, you know. I did. I missed several shows. I mean, just working, you know. I missed several shows. Like I think I would get off on a certain time. Think, okay, so in the night, and I'll get a homicide or something right at the end of the shift. So done. At that point, you're done. But you know, it all worked out once I retired. That's one reason I retired. I couldn't take it no more. I want to do comedy full time. I was wasting. You know, we're getting older, and it's comedy game, man. You can age out. So I didn't want to be so old that I age out and don't take the opportunity to know what I can do with this comedy thing. So it's time for me to leave.
Yeah, I did a lot. I mean, I always joke around and I tell people, you know, in the 5 years when I was retired, I could have been doing my 25 years. I got on, you know, how many TV shows? I wrote for a magazine. I had a web series. And I go through it all in my head, and then I said, and I did all those things. And you know what it really amounted to? Nothing, because I ain't got check shit yet. No, I'm kidding. But the point is, I would have never been able to do all those things. I never been able to write my one-man show. Never be able to get it into the Fringe Festival and have that experience. You know, I'll never be able to travel with it. Right. So I did it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's 23 is good. Do you have military time too?
No. Straight police now. So, I mean, like I said, I was a radio co-host for 2 years in D.C. Every day going to work 4 hours a day, making great money. I mean, I traveled around the country. I worked with some of the biggest names, all because I retired, though. Yeah. Time to do it. Yeah. It was one item. Yeah. I don't regret anything. I have no regrets. I mean, like I'm still pushing. Like right now, I'm probably more in New York than I am home. I'm in New York probably 5 6 times a week. Before COVID, I was pretty much there every weekend.
What's that trip like?
What, New York? 3 hours up, 3 hours back.
Driving?
Mm-hmm. I got so used to it, it didn't bother me anymore. Like, matter of fact, last week, I drove up to New York, came back Thursday, went to work, went to New York, came back, worked Friday, came back with the New York Saturday, came back, New Jersey Sunday, and came back. So, you know.
Yeah, it's a little. I used to do that too, man. I remember coaching my son's baseball team and doing a show in Lancaster, which was 4 hours.
Lancaster.
I was going to be there for that game no matter what. So I drove. It was crazy, man. And I've done that through the years in comedy. Drive 3 hours to do the gig, you know, do the gig, and then drive 3 hours home. I don't want to do that anymore, though. Now I'm like now.
I don't want to do that, but I feel like this New York is a great market for me. It really is a great market for me. Like Brooklyn I love Brooklyn. I have a lot of new fans in Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn, but I mean, I love New York. I just love the feel of comedy in New York. It's a different feel, and I tell a lot of comedians that in Baltimore, you won't experience real comedy until you go somewhere where comedy's out all the time and everywhere.
How much comedy's in Baltimore?
Not much. We have 2 comedy clubs, and you got pop-up stuff here and there, but not a lot of comedy. But in New York, it's comedy all the time. And the thing is, the competition is so heavy. I love it because it steps my game up, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I love it. I work with some of the big names in New York, and I love it. And I take the challenge every time. Yeah,
I mean, I've been here the whole time. This is where my comedy beginning. So we know all the same people. As a matter of fact, I saw that your tape is of the LaffAholics,
Ray DiJon.
Yeah, that is hilarious, that tape, man.
Yeah, but he's like I said, I've done a lot. That's how I started coming back to New York because of Ray. I used to go to New York every once in a while, but at the time I wasn't ready. You know, I wasn't ready. I was funny, but I knew you have to have a different mindset in New York to be accepted in New York as a New York comic and to be consistent. It really is. It takes a long time. But I mean, I've been ready now. Now I'm a headliner in New York. I go to New York and I headline a lot of places. But I had to be ready. And I wasn't ready back then.
I saw one of your reviews. One of your reviews says rapid fire comedy.
Yeah.
And watching your tapes and watching you, that's exactly what it is. I mean, you have that New York thing. It's like it's a snap, it's a pop, it's a holding the room with every freaking joke, especially in the top of your set. You know, a lot of people, maybe they watch a lot of TV and they get on stage and they're being a little, you know, lackluster about it, easing in. That's not what you do in New York. You know, forget it. You know, you got to, the first joke has to be bang.
Well, you got to realize in New York, they see comedy all the time. And so their attention span is slim to none if you don't capture their attention.
Especially
you know,
in urban rooms.
Especially urban rooms.
I mean,
but that's the thing. And you have to capture it, and you have to keep their attention. Because you can say one thing, and that can be it in New York.
Like, and especially a lot of people think, oh, is it because they're heckling? It's not even the heckling. It's just that you lose their attention and they start talking amongst themselves. And then you get frustrated, and getting them back is just like almost impossible. So, you know, it's got to be boom, boom, boom. You know, I tell you a good Ray DiJon story. When I first started doing comedy, right, I had done this room in the Bronx here. It was called the Cherry Lounge. I think Talent was the host. I remember Big Pun died. And I had opened up with a joke about that. And it cracked the room open nice. And then Ray DiJon came up to me afterwards. He goes, yo, you know, that was great. Come to my my spot on Tuesday, and I'll look at the book. I'll get you some dates. So I forget what I was doing, but that Tuesday night, I was en route. I was going to go do one thing. And en route there, I was going to stop at this room that Ray told me about, look at his book with him, get a date or two, and take off to where I had to be. But now I get to Ray's room, and it's a crazy party, man. They have like strippers and shit, and it's wild.
Wow.
And like, oh, hang out a little, give me a minute. So I'm giving him a minute, 10 minutes to him. I'm like, yo, I gotta go, right? He goes, all right, let me look at the book. Oh, you know what? Let's start right now. So he starts. He goes, you give me a couple minutes? And I was like, what? No, I'm on my way to somewhere else. And of course, like my comedy was not ready for this type of room. You know what I'm saying? Even now, it would be tough to reel them all in and get them to listen to some comedy. But back then, and then I fucking, I ate it. Obviously, it was horrible. It was so horrible. And then afterwards, like, there was no going looking at his book. I wasn't going to go asking for more dates. I just fucking left.
And then time is to fucking leave.
I didn't see Ray for another 2 years before I was ready to
do it. Yeah. I mean, but you got to know, like, I did a show. I mean, when I first started featuring, I thought I was ready to feature. I was an MC for years. So I thought I was ready to feature at the club. And they were like, you're not ready. I was like, I'm ready. So I got a weekend to feature. Feature's half an hour. I did a good 16 minutes before I just fizzled out. Then I started asking questions. So where you work? So, you married? They was like, so obviously I got fired that weekend. I got fired the whole weekend.
Really?
Because I wasn't ready. But I understood it, and now I get it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the internet comedians that we have now. I don't have a problem with internet comedians, don't get me wrong. But it's a progression of comedy. You start off MCing, then you feature, then you headline. It's about time, you know, getting your time up. So now a lot of these internet comedians I do shows with, they got 10 minutes of good headliner material, then after that, they're done. So what they started doing was trying to make us headline that were the veterans, but paying us less money.
Oh, wow.
So I was cussing this. I started cussing them out. I stopped that. I stopped. You can't call me and have an internet comedian making $10,000 and you paying me $1,000 to bring up the rear because he can't do it.
Well, who are these people though? These internet comedians? What kind of stuff are they doing on the internet? Memes?
They doing like skits, or they'll talk about a star, and they'll, you know, I mean, you can talk about a star, talk about, you know, current events and stuff like that. But comedy clubs don't realize that's a whole bunch of pausing, cutting and pasting, going back. You know, that's not comedy. You can't, ain't no cut and paste, no editing and stand up. Yeah. There's no editing stand up.
They should have those people host.
They should. But they don't want to do that because they feel like they cheating the crowd, so they give them.
But this way you get them. You actually get to see them more. Yeah. You get to see them 3-4 times that night. You probably get to hear by the third time they're up, a little bit something, off the top of their head and what really makes them special, rather than having them stand there flat-footed and try to deliver jokes. They don't have jokes. That's not what they do.
But this is the thing. You saying MC. Say MC is 10 minutes per time, and they only got 16 minutes. So you got 2 good sets out of them. You ain't getting another out of them. They don't have 30. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, a headline is what, 45 minutes? I don't usually do more than 45 minutes. I could do an hour and a half, 2 hours if I had to. But I won't do it because to me it just bores the crowd, 45 minutes as a headline as a club is probably pretty much enough for the crowd to get a taste of you. I don't like to do an hour or 2. I just don't like to do it. So you tell these new guys that don't have but 5 minutes to do 30.
Yeah.
They don't have. So then they play the music, black urban rooms. So then play the music and dance for 25 minutes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Y'all remember this song? Remember a whole bunch of reminiscing now.
Yeah. Listen, what was I gonna say? What you did BETs and you did Def Jam too?
They both of them. Yep, the Def Jam and BET. Yeah, it was great. BET. How
many years were you doing? Were you doing comedy when you got the Def Jam?
How long I was doing it?
Yeah. 10?
Maybe close to 9 or 10 years. It was good. I still wasn't ready though. It went good, but I wasn't ready. I just had a good audition set. Put it that way. And when I messed up at, and I tell anybody to do comedy on TV, you should know this as well. Never go over your time that they give you because they can edit you, and when they edit you, you look like crap. Always go. D.L. Hughley told me that. You under your time. If you do under your time, they'll play your whole set because there's nothing to edit. You let these guys start chopping your setup, you'll look terrible.
Yeah, a lot of those shows, they want to break it up into snippets, and a lot of them purposely like the guy who has one joke, does like that, not like a story. Because then they can just do whatever the fuck they want with it.
Yeah, but they said that's what they did to me. I was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good. But when I watched myself, I was like, damn, that joke don't go there. But it was my fault.
I mean, the truth is like, I can't watch myself. I hate every single thing. It's, to me, it fucks me up.
Why?
I just can't, because I look at it, how much better I do it now or what I missed, and it just makes me crazy. But anyway, let me ask you about this, because this is so funny. Like, your cop material is so funny. And one of the things that cracked me up the most is about how broke Baltimore PD is.
Yes, that's a true story. That's how bad Baltimore that broke.
What happened?
Well, I got the joke because I really did. The joke about pulling somebody over about their headlight being out.
Yeah.
I was actually out as well, and the guy pointed it out to me. That's what I'm saying. It's like being a hypocrite. I couldn't give him a ticket. I couldn't, and that's how it all came about. The whole bit about being broke.
And then the crime scene tape.
Crime scene tape. Yeah, we ran out and used Happy Birthday streamers.
Oh man, I tell you, I don't watch too much comedy because I don't want to get anybody else's idea confused with mine, and you know what I'm saying, or just I'd rather not really know, especially with a cop.
Yeah.
But yours is freaking.
It's so funny, man. You're the only. I saw another cop comedian, a black guy, actually pretty famous. I didn't know that. I forgot his name. Really famous. I guess he had something streaming. It was like 1 million views. You know what I mean? And I watched his comedy material with being a cop, and it was so hard for me to write cop material because of the climate of being a cop, period, even when I first started.
Yeah.
So the best thing I learned to do was kind of put it back on me, you know what I mean? And not so much like, I'm a cop and I'll lock you up, you know, because then some people love the cops, some people hate the cops. So I figured out a way to kind of just piece it all together so that there's no division. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally
get it. I did the same way.
I didn't do any cop jokes until after I retired.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a moment there, I tried a little bit around my 10th year of doing comedy, but then I got out of it really quick. I didn't want to have to deal with it. I just wanted to enjoy the joke writing process and all this stuff and not have to deal with the other things and plus I didn't really trust my job too much because you get some haters sometimes.
I got in trouble. Definitely got me in trouble.
my experience was actually the opposite. I actually had nothing but help and people looking out for me. My tours that I had, everything. They really wanted me to succeed, and I let them down greatly. But no, I'm just kidding. They all really looked out for me. But I was scared. Let's put it that way. I didn't want to make any enemies. I just wanted to be able to do my comedy. But when I retired and I started writing the jokes, I started thinking to myself, you know what? What could I talk about being a cop? I wasn't a great, listen, I wasn't a bad cop. You know what I'm saying? I did my job, but I wasn't like one of those cowboys, superstars. You know what I'm saying? I just did my job. So then I was like, well, that's pretty much fun. That's funny anyway. Like, just like not everybody is like that. I got I didn't want to be a cop. I got a 700 on my SAT. My options were like limited. You know what I'm saying? It was either cop, fireman, sanitation worker, do you know what I'm saying? Construction worker. It was like I was going to be like a lawyer or a doctor. That was it. Right. So that's how I approached it.
Right.
And, you have a similar way about you too. You kind of joke about it's I guess you could say it's like but it also is true because that's what makes us funny. Most guys who are the cowboys, they don't have much sense of humor.
Right. But the thing is, like I said, when I write stuff about being a police officer, I write, truth. People always like I do a joke about pulling black people over. I refuse to pull black people over. I only pull you over if you're white. And it always gets the crowd like, about racism. Like, I'm not racist, but if you're black, I don't pull you over. But if you're white, I'll pull you over all day. I love it because it shocks them. Then I tell them why. Not because I'm racist. Because white people got something that black people don't have. Like, oh, what? Their registration. Because black people never had a you ain't never seen black people with their registration. Open up the glove compartment, baby shoes fall out, bills. We ain't never got a registration. But I like it because it shocks the crowd.
My favorite part is the next part. What's the next part after that?
What? You pull a girl over, a black girl over, and she pops the trunk for a registration. What are
you popping the trunk for? Yeah. Why are you popping the trunk? I asked you for your registration. What are you popping the trunk for?
And a black guy, you ask him license registration. I want a lawyer. He already wants a lawyer for his registration. And I like it because every time I do that joke, the faces on people is like, oh my God, here we go with the black cop racist joke. But then I just completely flip it. That's what I like about it because it changes it changed everybody's value. Now everybody's divided, but once I finish the joke, everybody's together,
Yeah. That's what I love. I love doing that too. Like, steering them one way and then, oh, okay. Yeah. The funny thing is, I haven't, I've been getting up lately, but I haven't done any cop jokes. And, I don't know when I'm going to be able to do them again. I don't know about you, but are you doing your cop jokes?
And people love it. People love it because, and I was, believe me, after everything was happening, I was very afraid to do the cop jokes again. Mm-hmm. But then I realized I understand that, and somebody told me, somebody came to me after the show, was like, man, thank you for bringing us all together because, you took away the tension. I just did a show in Brooklyn a couple of weeks ago with Ray at the Black Lives Matter mural in Memphis. It was an outside show. Mm-hmm. I was nervous as hell. you talking about, I'm at the Black Lives Matter mural. I'm watching all, they have the cops' names of all the cops that, were involved in the cases. 400 people out there, and I'm a cop. Yeah. And guess what? It went great. Crowd loved it. They went crazy. They loved it, and they enjoyed it. Because what it brings, me being a cop, when everything's going on in the comic, it still brings the fact that I'm still human.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that about us sometimes. They can confuse the uniform with a person.
Yeah. I mean, I would tell you that it's not because I just don't have the feeling right now. I have done it through, I mean, obviously now is worse than ever, but I've done it when most of the time people wouldn't think that I would do it. You know what I'm saying? And I've done it in every room possible, good times or bad times. First time around with Black Lives Matter. Same thing, just like that, doing those events. But it's just this time right now, everything just changes from day to day. And the sentiment got so ugly that like I said, once again, I do this because I like people and I want them to like me. I don't want to get into a confrontation. I don't want to get into a discussion about policing. I don't want to get into any of that. I just want to tell jokes, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And during this period right now, I have been writing jokes. They're not great jokes by any stretch of the imagination, but just the opportunity to do them and to get back out in front of people. I don't want to chance fucking it up or having to get into a discussion because I did the cop stuff.
Right.
Let me just do these jokes, have fun, enjoy the moment. Because also, we don't know how much longer we're going to be able to do this because it's going to get cold again.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the cities you've been traveling to, but in New York.
I've been in New York.
Yeah, I mean, we got the outdoor shows.
Right.
And it's pretty much it. It's some Zoom shit, some weird. Everything is weird, man.
Which I can't do Zoom. I won't do any more Zoom comedy shows.
You know what's funny about that? I'll tell you something. I did 2 or 3 Zoom shows in the beginning. I was like, if this is what comedy is going to be like, I don't want to do it no more.
I said the same thing. I agree with you, Mark. I couldn't do it anymore.
And then somebody...
I'd rather create a podcast or create a show or something, but I won't do no stand-up comedy in my living room, watch people look at me like I'm crazy. I'm not doing that.
Listen to me. Then somebody gave me $200 to do that Zoom show, and I did it, and I was like, you know what? This is pretty good. I'll do this shit all the time.
I can't do it.
I'm still in my house, in my shorts. I put a decent shirt on. I was watching the game while the other people were up, because you're not even in the same room. I came out, did my thing, and then I was done. 20 minutes later, there was a Venmo, $200. I said, I'll do this shit every day and twice on Thursday. Let's go.
I can't do it. I'm a crowd feeler. You know, I'm a good. With me, I have learned this from some of the best comedians, like some of my mentors. I don't know if you know Joe Rucker, who passed away, and another comedian named Fat Doctor. 2 veterans that were in there. They both passed away. They were my mentors, and they taught me how to read a crowd. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can go to a crowd. I can watch you go up, Mark, and I can change my whole material to know what goes first, what goes second, to get the crowd, because I'm a studier of crowds and comedy. You know what I mean? So when I see you go up and I'm like, Mark did that joke, it didn't work too well, because saying, okay, I'm gonna stay away from so much sexual material because that's not the crowd. I can listen to you and figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about that's why I can't do Zoom shows. I can't feel it out. I can't feel it.
Yeah. I hear you. And believe me, I love like Jerry Seinfeld said, under the best of circumstances, in a comedy club that says comedy, stand-up comedy, a stage, a mic, light, a crowd that's there to see comedy. Under the best of circumstances, it's a difficult thing to do. So once you take it out of that, you start pulling away different elements of what makes it really what it is, the magic. But somehow, we've gotten used to that, and we can do comedy almost everywhere. But this Zoom shit takes it to another freaking level where it's not even like it's foreign, it's uncomfortable. But my joke was that if you pay me to do something, you know what? Then it makes all the world of difference, because to make $250 or $200 or whatever, to travel there, to go get it, to travel back, and I just put it in my house, I'll take the money, man.
Right, I get you. Like I said, I just I'm just a feel of a crowd person. That's all I.
Yeah, I mean,
I did 2 Zoom shows, and I found myself laughing at myself. And people look at me like, I thought it was an oil painting. They looked at me like I was Frederick Douglass. This is how bad it was. I was just looking at me like I was crazy.
It sucks. But for the same money, I'd have to go into the city. I have to go to work. I have a concierge gig that I do in the city.
Right.
I was working in the police academy as an actor. We were doing for CIT, crisis intervention, how to handle mental illness. Here's the funny part. They defunded it. Now, did they hurt the cops? No, those cops are still working. All those guys are still working. But all the actors that you hired for that thing and all the clinicians that used to work there, they're not working now. Fucking idiots. What a bunch of fucking idiots, right? It doesn't even make sense. And plus, the training program was exactly what you're talking about. Don't shoot freaking people with mental illness. So the whole thing is retarded.
It is, man. It is. Like I said, I don't think it's just this whole climate. And like I said, man, it actually has been helping me being I get a lot more gigs being, because I'm a police officer. And a lot of people know my work. They know who I, they know me from just booking me. I thought that I was gonna have a lot of people not want to book me because of the cop jokes and stuff, but it's the case. That ain't the case. I've been getting more bookings because of it. You know
That's
what I mean?
good. That's good. And plus, like you travel. You're I guess Baltimore. You're a little bit easier to travel. Kind of sort of like in the middle between a lot of different spots. And New York over here, even when everything was popping and before the COVID, I wasn't really one to go more than a 2-hour ride.
Yeah.
I was over it already. You know what I'm saying? Like between the pension and my acting gig and whatever else I could do just comedy here wise, I was okay.
Yeah, but that's New York though. That's the difference in New York. There's always some work somewhere. I don't care if it's comedy. You always can work in New York. That's the difference between crime in Baltimore and crime in New York. You got drug addicts in New York. Don't be wrong. Number one, the drug of choice mostly is crack in New York.
Yeah.
Crack is a functional drug. You can smoke crack and function and work. You can't do it in heroin. Heroin in Baltimore is we sell more heroin than anybody in the country. Baltimore is the most heroin state, which means you can't work. Which means what? They rob, they steal, they do everything else. Right? But in New York, if you're a crackhead, you can go to these stores, sweep stores up. You can do anything for a day to make enough money to buy enough crack to last for a week if you wanted to. You know what I mean? That's the difference between Baltimore and New York. They have the crime, but the drug addicts you always can find something to do to work to make money. This is the way it is in New York. Yeah,
there's a lot of heroin coming back in New York now, though.
Yeah, but we got heroin.
It's not like I've been to Baltimore. I don't recall it, but I kind of blocked it out from my memory.
You need to.
Just kidding.
You should.
But heroin's definitely making a comeback here. You could walk down the street, especially now because there's not too many people out now. Everybody in New York City is like, oh, there's so many more homeless. There's so many more drug addicts out and derelicts. I'm like, nah, it's the same amount. It's just that there's no other people around.
Like you can see them now.
You see them more.
Right.
Like in New York, like you got the crazy homeless. There's always a dude on like every other block that's got to punch somebody in the face like every other day. Right. And the chances of you getting punched in your face are literally 1 in a million because there's a million people walking down that street. But now there's nobody. So now it's like 1 in 3. You get punched in your face, he might hit you again tomorrow. Right. So people are bugging out. People are having dinner in the street here, and some guy will come out of nowhere, and it was in the paper, cold cock, and boom, and just like keep walking. And everybody's the city's going crazy. Nah, man, that dude does that. That's what he does. Every month he'll go in for an overnight, central booking because something happened. But this guy's got 120 collars, but it's never nothing. It's just crazy. He's a crazy dude from the street.
It is. And like I said, Baltimore just completely lost their mind. I've never seen, we got more murders per capita than anybody in the country. And like a couple of weeks ago, we had 50 shootings in a week and 20 people got killed. I was working today. I work for, I do security for a construction company, a gas electric company. They have construction people doing pipes. And we just basically in the neighborhoods to make sure they're safe. I mean, just today, we had 13 shots up the street. And I look on my phone, the Citizen app, 2 people shot. It's like Baltimore has completely gone completely nuts. I tell people, the people say, how bad is Baltimore? I said, just think of a city and multiply times 10. That's how bad we are. It's like you can't even go in the city because the city is so bad right now. It's that bad.
As soon as the moon comes out, it gets dark.
No. There's nothing to do with the moon. Most of our shootings happen in the daytime in the morning during the regular day. Yeah, we had 2 people shot before 11 o'clock today. Most of our shootings happen during the day.
Yeah, let's see. Like over here, we have like it's a moratorium for like. There's really no shootings during the day over here, but at nighttime, that's when things pop off.
No, ours during the day. Our shootings are ridiculous. Always shooting or something. Baltimore's probably 1 or 2 shootings per day or homicide per day. It's just that it's that bad, and it's scary. It's scary. Like my son, I told my son he can't even go in the city. He can't. I live in the county. We can't go in the city. You can't go in the city.
What is it? So the city? I guess that's where all your municipal buildings are and your office buildings and stuff like that are. Right. And what you're saying is that even during the day in the city, they're shooting.
All day.
People are going to work.
All day, every day.
See, that doesn't happen over here in New York. Because before COVID, everybody's, working and going back and forth to work and stuff like that. You could have like that guy that punches somebody in the face. Maybe somebody gets robbed or a purse snatching. But the shootings, it's unusual. like especially in the city. That would be like, that's why we have a special word for it, broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it happened in broad daylight. It's like a shock. Like, really? In broad daylight?
Well, New York, y'all got a cop on every corner, which I do like. Y'all have cops on every corner, it seems like. I mean, y'all really protect the city as far as crime and tourism.
Omnipresence.
But y'all got y'all some of the omnipresence is ridiculous. Like Baltimore, we're short 1,000 cops. They're short 1,000 cops.
Mm-hmm.
And they got people retiring. So many people just leaving because the department is so messed up now. You know how it is now. You know, nobody can do anything. You can't put your hands on nobody. That you can't protect yourself. So a lot of people are leaving. You know, they're just leaving. But like I said, New York, I've been to the projects in New York. I get the feel of the city. I'm from the city. I'm from the inner city. So I like to feel other inner cities.
Yeah.
In New York, it's just one place I feel comfortable. I've always felt comfortable in New York. And I go to Harlem and I walk to the projects by myself.
Uh-huh.
You know, most of the people there, they don't bother you because most of the crime in New York is people having beefs against other people. It's not random stuff. When people have stuff in New York, it's because, some type of beef or something. Baltimore, you can just get shot just because. There's no, no rhyme or reason. I'm just want to shoot somebody today. That's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, the random shooting thing is coming back in New York now. It was like for like 20 years. Whenever you heard like something happened, something popped off, it was between those groups.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the random shooting wasn't that much, but now coming back, like some lady just got shot in the neck.
Yeah.
2 nights ago in her apartment. No, she just looked out the window here in the Bronx and she got shot in the neck. There was something popped off in the street. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing though. That's an accidental shooting. I'm talking about they wasn't specifically shooting at her. In Baltimore, they shooting at you for no reason. If you go in a neighborhood in Baltimore and they don't know who you are, you got a chance of getting shot or robbed or beat up real bad just because they don't know you. That's how bad Baltimore is. Like in New York, like I said, I'm in the projects in New York. I walk in New York and I see the guys. I speak to them. They speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, what's up? What's up? I walk through. They don't bother you because they don't know who I am, and they don't care who I am. Because you know why? In New York, it's about the money. They don't want anybody to mess up their money. You walking through the street, they shoot me. Guess what? Then they got 1,000 cops. Then you can't make any money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the mentality. Look, in New York, we about money, and they about money in New York. I mean, I love New York for that fact. There's always money to be made in New York. I was going to move to New York. I was this close. I'm moving to New York before COVID hit.
But you have a family too, right?
Sort of, kind of.
I mean, didn't you mention you have a kid?
Yeah, I got a kid. I got a 14-year-old son. He good though. He all right. He all right. He can visit me. It ain't 3 hours, 3 hours. But I was going.
No, you could find something. Maybe you could get. A lot of these people need a roommate. You know what I'm saying? No. Well, you could get a room like in Brooklyn with another comic.
Well, actually, I was gonna get it in Jersey. I think I was gonna go to Jersey.
Jersey's good too.
Yeah, that would be close to New York.
Jersey has a lot of shows too.
Yeah, I just did one in Jersey.
Jersey and Connecticut, not just New York.
I'm trying to get in Connecticut. Connecticut was nice. Connecticut was nice. My man Marlon, Marlon Randolph?
Yeah, of course.
He's one of the funniest comics in the country. Marlon is probably one of the top comics. I
love Marlon. Yeah,
he's a monster. He's from Connecticut, So I connect with him a lot. But I mean, like my next show, I'm supposed to do a show in New York this Saturday, but I'm actually taking a motorcycle class this week today.
Are you gonna learn how to ride?
The 3-wheelers, the 3-wheel motorcycle. I'm too old for 2 wheels.
Yeah. I like the 4 wheels, the ones that are they have the metal around them.
Yeah.
You ever do those? The cars. No. The cars. I was telling this guy the other day because my friend just bought a scooter, and the scooter's badass, man. It goes 40 miles an hour.
Really?
And which is way. It's 20 miles an hour too fast for a scooter. But right. I told him, I said, I wish it had a seat. Because, because now this guy wants to come back and forth from the Bronx on a fucking scooter. So I'm like, yeah, if it had a seat, I don't want to stand up that whole way. And then you know what? If we could put another, maybe 2 wheels and some doors on it so I don't get hit, then I'm like, I'll just get a car. I just have a car. I'm
taking a chance like hell to drive a scooter in New York.
Yeah.
Traffic? Nah, hell no. Can you imagine driving the sidewalk from the Bronx to Queens? You can't do it.
You know what? I owe it to myself not to get seriously hurt because I tell you what, I made it to 53 years old.
Okay.
I'm all intact. Now I'm going to start doing some stupid shit.
Yeah.
And every time you ask me to do something, I always think about what's the risk value. And I'm like, nah, I'm okay. I'll watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm getting a license for a three-wheel motorcycle, not two wheels. Two wheels, I'm not. I can't do that.
See, that's the benefit of moving to New York, because you don't have to have a license to drive the three-wheeler in New York. You just go up and down with everybody else.
Really?
You never seen them?
No.
Fucking crazy, bro. You see like 30 of them, 40. They're coming from Harlem, and they're driving around Harlem, and sometimes they come down like through the city, and it's like a gang.
Yeah.
Wah. And then like, woo. I remember when I was on the job, me and my partner, we were in an unmarked van. And they came through this way on the side of us. And they would get to the corner, and they would look for the light to take off. And one guy got to the corner, looked at the light, looked at us, and goes, "Oh shit!" Like he made us, right? So he starts waving at his the other guys, pointing like this, and then he takes off and he makes the right. Now, I'm like looking like this with my partner, woo, woo, woo. They're all coming by, and then when the light turns green, we go in the middle of the street, and they all stop there, and they're all looking at us on these bikes, like they want us to chase them. And then I just went like this. Me and my partner kept driving slow. We won a warrant hit. We were going to pick up somebody on the warrant, try to get him anyway. And like, fuck these guys. I mean, what are we gonna do?
You know, it's not worth it. It's not worth the risk. We got a bad dirt bike problem in Baltimore. Bad dirt bike problem. You know, them traffic, hundreds of them in the street and stuff like that. But the thing is, if you chase them as a cop and one of those guys hits somebody or kills himself, guess who's responsible?
Yeah.
You are. Ain't worth the risk, man. I got a kid. I used to tell him, Papa Willie, let me watch you. I used to tell him. I mean, what am I gonna do? You're gonna do it anyway. I might as well get entertained.
The craziest thing now, they're renting out these little Revel motorbikes.
Yeah, I see them.
In Washington Heights. And these people, these Dominicans, bro, they don't freaking, they don't stop for the lights, and they put it on somebody else in the back, and then we ain't no helmets, and they just, and like, there's going to be like a serious accident over there.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a matter of time. I don't even know how they get away with no helmets, and, you know, nobody's going to, like you said, nobody's going to pull them over.
No, it ain't bother them. It's not worth your time.
No, but now you're driving a car, and you got to look out for these guys. They're not stopping at the lights. They go for 1 second and then go.
Right.
You know?
I tell you one thing. I learned to drive in New York. Took a lot of time. I had to learn how to drive in New York. I'm a nice driver. You know, just go ahead. Not New York. All that bullshit, letting people over. Not New York. I had to learn my lesson.
Yeah.
You get in where you fit in. That's it. Ain't no way don't let nobody through, and I'm gonna hold traffic while you come to. I'm New York.
Think about this. I drive. I'm an aggressive New York driver, and I was a cop. So you could just imagine. Like it took me, I think, about a year or two after I retired to stop at lights, and plus they were putting the cameras in.
Right.
But to me, a light used to be a stop.
You were still running lights. You were still running lights after retired.
Well, yeah. Well, that's when they started putting the cameras in.
Okay.
But I mean, I get to a corner and I want to make a right. I'm never stopping really. Just, you know, you go boot and you go. To me, it's a stop sign. You know, a lot of times you could see somebody driving. I remember being on patrol and see somebody like that guy's on the job. Look at the way he's driving, but they're in their private car.
Right.
It's the way that you drive like a police car. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
On the 2 lanes.
Right.
People look at those lines in the street like they'll actually stop you. No, it's just a line in the street, man. It's just you drive right over it.
I park like a cop now. Still, I park. I just throw the car and get out.
Oh yeah.
Cop, you don't go to a shooting call and parallel park and make sure your line's right. You throw the car, you pull up, you put in park, and you get out. I still do it to this day. To this day, I just get in the car, park it any kind of way, and just walk out.
The one thing I miss the most about the job is that freaking parking plaque.
Really?
Oh my God, that thing was like, especially the department one, the laminated one,
right?
With the one with the freaking seal on it. Like we used to get like the cardboard ones. You were allowed to park in front of your precinct. People used to stretch out the boundaries. Mm-hmm. But that one where you have where you can park anywhere, and they can't touch your car. Oh, going shopping, parking in front of Bloomingdale's.
Oh yeah,
right in front of Bloomingdale's. Right. Like throwing the plaque in there around the holidays. Oh,
that was wonderful.
Man, I missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, That's all I miss about the job is parking. I don't miss the
Yeah,
job.
people talk about power and like I never ever abused my power. I never mistreated anybody. I don't have to look over my shoulder for anything.
Me neither.
But that freaking parking plaque, oh, I loved using that thing. Oh, it was just so beautiful to not have to look for parking in New York City.
That's wonderful.
Put it wherever you want, and it's going to be there when you get out. It's just an amazing feeling.
I hate parking in New York City. I think when I do shows, I know I got to get there an hour early just for parking.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I think the first time I did a show 2 weeks ago, I parked in front of the venue. Could not believe it. I said, it must be COVID. It must be. I parked in front of the venue. And I couldn't believe it. I was in Long Island. I couldn't believe it.
People always wonder about parking spots. Like they're driving around New York, and I tell them all the time, if it looks too good, it is.
It is.
Yeah, yep. Like it's the people like where I work as a concierge. There's like we have a circular driveway, or like a semicircle driveway. People come and park in there, and I'll come out and I'll stand out and be like, "Did you think that was a good spot?" Like nothing in your head said, "Let me check this out." No. There's just 2 parking spots waiting for you right now in New York City.
The same thing you said, New York, that kills me. Y'all have so many goddamn fire hydrants.
Oh.
It's fucking ridiculous. Every time I think it's a spot, it's a freaking hydrant.
Yep.
Right there. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Every time I'm driving, like I got my grandmother, my aunt in the car with me, and I'm driving, and we're looking for a parking spot. They're always like, right there. So it's a hydrant. I'm not even up to it yet. It's a hydrant. I know how many feet they are apart in my head already. I was like, it's a hydrant. And they're like, how about over here? It's a church. No, that's a school. No.
You already know.
You know?
I can't do it. I'm not used to that, brother. I'm not used to it at all.
So do you have a podcast too?
Nah, I don't, man. I'm actually going to start one this fall. I said this fall I'll do one because of, I have time to do it. You know what I mean? I'll be in the house mostly. Won't be working as much. So I'll be in the house setting up a podcast.
Yeah, I think you'd be great at it. I'd love to have you back on again with our other show.
All right, man. Just let me know. I appreciate it.
And maybe if I start a platform, because I think that's probably the direction to go in as far as starting a platform. Mm-hmm. And somehow we figure out how to all monetize from it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. I do, man. That's the thing I want to monetize from it. I want to do. I got a podcast. I want to bring all types of people on, from just everybody. Mm-hmm. Every walks of life. I mean, from drug addicts, talking to them, people that have been recovered from drug addicts. You know what I mean? Drug dealers, cop, everybody. I want to hear the opinion of everybody. Just to, you know what I'm saying? I just want to hear the opinion of everybody.
We were talking earlier about that. You said about the going through the courts with the warrants, how you had to go, and I was like, just nobody ever realized that about the job, about like what it's like to. You're not arresting people in 3-piece suits. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that you arrest, everybody's got a different thing. They usually smell like shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They haven't bathed.
Yeah.
Just bad. They may be sick.
Yeah.
Something, I remember one time we had this dude, and I was showing him a picture of a warrant, and he looked sick. So I said, "You got the HIV?" And he goes, "Nah, I got the new shit." I was like, "What?" He said, "Doctors don't even know what it is yet." He goes,
dang.
He goes, "I got bugs crawling in and out of me." And he goes, "Look," and he pulls up his sleeve, and he's got this big chunk of meat missing right there, scabbed up with like little black dots. I was like, "Oh shit!" So we're in the projects right now, and I'm like pressing the elevator. Those fucking elevators never come. Yeah. So we had to feel around the wall and find the door to the stairwell, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll help you out. I know somebody." And we just, yeah, come by the precinct.
But I did the same thing with a girl I was going to lock up. She had a warrant on her. And she said, "Don't touch me, I got maggots." I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean you got maggots? What is that?" Right. Lift the leg up. She had actual maggots eating this flesh, the wound in her. And the doctor told her it was good for her because the maggots will eat the dead skin away from the what's the name?
The wound, yeah.
So, needless to say, she's probably still free to this day. We didn't lock her up. Yeah. She could commit 18 murders. That's one goddamn arrest I wasn't going to make.
Yeah.
Maggot. No. But like you say, you never know what goes on in people's lives. And that's my podcast about. I just want to see I want to hear the stories, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear the stories, get a different perspective on all the stories, you know?
You know, it's funny. I saw a clip of you too, and you were talking, and you said that people always ask you after you do your material, "Were you really a cop?" And that same thing with me. I'll do a whole 45 minutes, 35 of them on cop stuff, and then afterward they'll be like, "You really a cop?" I'm like,
Who lies? I'm like, you know, the biggest thing is, who lies about being a cop?
Yeah, I know. I had one lady. She thought I lied the whole 45 minutes. She was drunk off her ass. We were at a casino. And she's like, "My son's a cop. I don't really think you were a cop." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I was. Nah, I didn't think you were a cop." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And I left. She was annoying. I'm walking past, leaving the venue, and they got the slot machines there. And now she's with her girlfriend playing slot machines. She sees me walking this way. "You ain't no fucking cop!" Like screaming. I'm like, "Holy shit!" And like she scared me. I I ran away, man.
Yeah, they always ask me if I'm a cop. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Hey, are you really a cop? I'm like, you know, I just play with on fucking TV. What the hell do you think? Oh yeah, I mean, who lies about being a police? You know, you can lie about a drug dealer. You don't hear no rapper lying about being a drug dealer. Say, "I'm a cop." You don't hear no rapper lying about being a cop.
Yeah.
You know, you lie about a drug dealer. You don't lie about being a cop. Yeah, but you know.
I know intimate details about cases. I talked about it on stage, and yeah, you still don't believe me, huh?
Exactly. Like I said, but like I said, I will say that the outpouring of support about me being a comic and a cop with everything that's still going on. I mean, it's been wonderful. It's really been great. You know, I'm hoping my job one day is to bring my comedy and this whole cop and citizen thing, some type of.
Did we ever do that show in Gotham?
No.
Do you remember it?
Did we do the show in Gotham?
It was supposed to be me, you.
We never did it. That show with the guy from California, I forgot what his name was.
Yeah.
We never did it. He had a good idea. We just never did it.
Yeah, it's kind of. So was the money, man. You know, when you were looking for somebody to produce the show and come up with the money, everybody's got a great idea until somebody got to come up with the money.
I think it'll still work, but people have to see us first. It's going to be a little bit like, I don't know if I want to touch these guys, they cops and comics. But once they see it, I think they're like, oh, you know.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not like you're doing a show where we're going to do pull up a guy from the audience that's a cop, one that's a fireman, let them do a joke. You're looking at polished veterans, you know.
Yeah,
really,
polished veterans.
Good cops.
I think it can work so well. I think that nobody will want to be hard for us to get somebody to back us, but the person that will back us will benefit a lot from it.
Yeah.
Because I think that once we go on stage and the type of comedy that you have, and my comedy is basically, I joke about the police department, I joke about myself, you know. What I'm saying, once they see that it's not that whole, we're cops, we're better than you, and you know, all those cases that are going on, the police are right, y'all wrong, we're right. Once they see that that's not the case, I think that we can break some ice with this. Sure, I
don't understand the illusion or the delusion that seems to come up from people that like treat cops like they're not human, like they're like superheroes. I saw one thing where the guy threw the top of a garbage can. It looked heavier than a garbage, but it hit the cop like right in the back of the neck. You see that when he's getting in the car? Yeah. And the people were like, "Oh shit!" Like they thought like that he wouldn't get hurt or that it wouldn't. It's like, what the fuck do you think? It's like, that's another human being.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine who did the same thing the other day. He said something about that police need to an eye for an eye. So I politely told him, I said, "I've been knowing you 35 years. You know my character. I'm a cop. They shouldn't kill me. How would you feel?" He's like, "Timmy, I'm sorry." He apologized. He's like, "I'm sorry. You're exactly right." I said, "You got to separate the uniform from a person, bro. You have to. Everybody's not like that. All cops aren't like that. We're just not. All of them not like that."
It's unbelievable that I'm always trying to understand the psychology behind putting a statement up there that you're really not. You have to be stupid to make it. Like defund the police, to me, is the dumbest shit in the world. And then I have people that I know, like people that have worked in the police academy with me. It's like you're talking about defund the police. You're a civilian, but you realize now you're out of a job.
Yeah.
Those cops are still working. Our program is done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're out of work because are you okay with that now?
Yeah. I mean, that defund the police is stupid. I mean, The crime problem we have in Baltimore is so bad. What are you gonna do when you defund the police and don't have the resources anymore?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're really gonna be screwed then. And the problem, they talk about taking the money from the police department and putting it in other places for resources for other people. Problem with that is Baltimore has such a bad. We're so bad at corruption. We just had our last mayor go to jail. The people are stealing money left and right. What are you gonna think? What do you think is gonna happen when you take the money from the police department and funnel it through the mayors and the governor or whatever? You're not gonna see it. They're gonna take it.
Well, that's what they want. They want to have access to more money.
They're gonna take it.
They want to give jobs to clinicians. I mean, if you look at what they're talking about taking the responsibility of homeless, substance abuse, and EDPs, emotionally disturbed people. Well, they want to take those people away so the cops don't have to deal with it, which my argument
Fine with me. I agree.
Oh, nobody wants to deal with those jobs
That's
anyway.
false.
The only reason why we do it is because nobody else wants to. So now you're going to have a clinician go over there. What are they going to go there by themselves?
Yeah.
It's a nonviolent situation based on who? The 911 operator who's not there? You know as well as I do, all of this, just because it comes over one call doesn't mean it's going to be that way when you get there. So now you got a clinician showing up. The clinician's going to have a cop with him. Somebody's have to come over there first and evaluate whether it's violent or nonviolent. Who's that going to be? That's going to be a cop. And then if it's nonviolent, then they're going to call the clinician over who's being driven by a cop. We just wasted 3 bodies right now.
Yep.
Do this fucking nonsense.
Yeah. I don't understand how you think that taking these emotionally disturbed people away from the cops is hurting us. I would love for somebody to take part of my calls. If you said we got a whole new civilian unit that deals with stolen cars, they'll write all the reports. Do you really think I care that you're taking less work away from me? I don't care about that. But like you said, somebody goes over, and the first time a clinician gets killed, that should have stopped. We just had one in Baltimore. Some uncle called about his nephew acting crazy. They go downstairs, he has a gun. Takes the gun, turns it with the cop. Cop kills him. Everybody's, I can't believe they killed him. Are you really serious? Mm-hmm. If you and uncle was scared of him, what do you think is gonna happen when we come out and see him? He's gonna act out on us. He don't know us. Mm-hmm. But he got shot and killed. But what were they supposed to do?
Yeah, those type of situations are unfortunate. We just had one here where the guy came out with the knife, and he had already stabbed people like a couple of months ago, and it's just it's now we're just especially because it's election time. It's like a deflection, a diversion. The politicians use us, to not really focus too much on what they're doing or not doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're like the deflection right now until the election. Unfortunately, with all these riots and stuff, it's not making those the big cities look good at all, because people they're fed up with the freaking with the crime right now, and they want it to go.
They're fed with the crime, and I get the frustration with things that's happening in the police department, but you can't hold all cops accountable. You want to just fade out police departments in general. I mean, that's just that's just stupid. Come on.
I like the point that you made though. Because people forget. Would you want to see that happen to me? No, but people forget. They get so caught up. And to me, it's like, you get really, it's weird to see people that can't control their emotions. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I want to write something on a social media thing, and then I either delete it or I just don't write any response. It's not worth it.
Right.
It's not worth it. It's not worth the argument. It's not going to change anything. It's your opinion, so.
I know I did that a couple of weeks ago. I wrote something about crime and black on black crime, and it was a fight. I was on social media battling back and forth with so many people, and I said, you know what? That was my fault. My fault. As a comedian, I should have stayed out of it, but it was just the way I was feeling at the time. But then I realized I opened up myself for a whole bunch of shit I shouldn't even open up myself for.
Yeah,
I get it now. You know what I mean? I said, okay, fine. Everybody's going to have their opinions. I did a Breonna Taylor post. Of course, I got 60 shares and everything because it was a thing about me, agreeing with the prosecution, which I agree with. I don't agree with the prosecution. I just agree that it should be prosecuted because, I know you can't shoot through objects. You know that. I mean, we know this. Every bullet that comes out of your gun is accounted for. We know this. I ain't talking about the character of the police officer or her or the boyfriend. I'm talking about police procedures that we know to be true. That's what I based it off of. You know what I mean? I didn't base it off opinions of anybody. Just that knowing me being a cop and doing a raid and somebody shot and we couldn't see him, We can't shoot back. You just can't. You got to back out and, hold the house. Shoot into a wall. Anytime you hit somebody, you're responsible for that bullet. That's just it. Mm-hmm. You are. I mean, and being a cop, I look at everything objectively. I look at the whole picture. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a warrant. Yeah, it was this. I don't care if the warrant was true or not. I don't even know if it was true or not, if the warrant was for him or not. I can't even say to that because I don't see the affidavit. But I'm saying it's my police procedures that I know to be true as a cop myself. Mm-hmm. I know procedures were not done properly.
I remember once I was in an apartment and my partner was in the next room. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't have split up anyway, but
yeah.
And it's just, it's weird. Like you talk about just taking something for granted and not realizing how dangerous or a situation you're putting yourself into. But I used to work with my partner and we didn't want anybody else with us because we just didn't want a fucking third wheel.
Right.
It was me and him. And we go and we'd be going inside people's apartments, not knowing how many people were in there, running people. It's a drug den. It's me and my partner with the department cell phone. What's your name? Give me your ID, this, that, and the other. Sit over here, sit over there. One guy's crawling through the window to come back in the apartment. He thought we were gone. We're like, yo, what's up? What the fuck you doing? He jumps back down. You know what I'm saying? You think about it, like, what the fuck were we doing?
Right.
But the door the door wasn't on the hinge.
Mm.
So when my partner went in that room, or he pushed the door to get it, the door just, boom. I was like, oh, shit. That moment, like, I didn't just start shooting. Danny, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. It was the door. All right. I was,
But as a cop, we've done it. I mean, I had partners of mine that one person may shoot at the cops and then 20 officers will shoot. It's the reaction. It's a reaction. I'm saying, I'm not saying that, they're not human, but I'm just saying we're not regular citizens when you're cops. You can't think like somebody shoot at me, I'm gonna shoot back. You can't think that way. You gotta think a whole different way. And if not, you're gonna get in trouble. You can't think I'm a cop, somebody shoot at me, I'm gonna shoot right back at him. You gotta look at your backdrop. You gotta look at somebody shooting in the crowd and shoot at you and there's 20,000 people behind you. Well, you can't shoot back. You can't.
I mean, I'd have to look at the room layout or whatever. I mean,
that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Monday morning quarterbacking.
No, I'm not Monday morning quarterback. I'm saying though,
I'm just saying if I were to speculate on it, because all I think about is because when they were reading the thing, the indictment off, and I heard like how many shots. One was 16 shots, the other one was 11 shots, and one was. I was like, wow, that's a lot of shots. But I understand there's a lot of shooting going on. Nobody knows who's doing the shoot. Where it's. I don't know. It's
right. But the point I'm saying is, if you don't know where it's coming from, you can't shoot based on just what I heard. You can't. We as a cop, as a criminal, he can do all he wants. He can shoot. He can shoot at any way he wants to do. He's not bound by any rules or regulations. We are.
The irony of it is that we're in a situation right now where if you somebody did fire a shot at you, and let's say you're outside or whatever, you hear a shot or something gets hit next to you, you're gonna go crazy because now you think you're getting ambushed.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate argument. You look at those sheriffs in LA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You look at cops getting ambushed everywhere. So it mind you, if somebody's trigger happy right now, like, oh, they just, you're just scared to death.
Yeah, you're right. But like I said, man, I ain't Monday morning quarterback. I just based everything on the procedures I know to be true as a police officer. I don't care. And what I said was across the board. It wasn't like Baltimore has these rules as a cop. No, all cops are responsible for the bullets that come out their gun. Mm-hmm. We all are. I don't care what you do. Whatever happens, you have to take the punishment. What happens? You know what I mean? I ain't speculating. I don't want to speculate on crime and all that other crap. I ain't going through that because I don't know. I'm just talking about procedures of what I know to be true as an officer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody, they all look to us for answers, and like you're like, I don't know, I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have answers. What I can tell you is this. You know what I'm saying? But also too, when we're talking about going on social media, you posted your opinion, and it's interesting that you think that you have these friends on there, but they don't really, they forget about you, or they purposely choose not to think about you. You're not, well, everybody else except for you. Well, you don't realize that's my family. Like I told somebody the other day, I said, I don't give a shit really who is the fucking president or the mayor. I just want to be able to perform and do my shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm loyal to. I just want to do my things and don't say nothing bad about cops.
Right.
Because you're not. If that's where you want to put me politically, go ahead. Because I'm not gonna say nothing bad, and I'm gonna disagree with you every single time.
Right.
Until I'm proven otherwise, because this is my gang. The same way I stick up for my comedy buddies, my acting buddies, is the same way I stick up for my comedy friends. I mean, my cop family.
Right.
So I'm not gonna. No, I don't agree with you at all. Just know that I don't agree with you.
Oh no, I guess I'm different. I look at.
No, I'm saying I not agree with you. I'm just saying I don't.
I know what you're saying, but I look at every situation individually. So please don't come to me talking about, well, this cop did. I look at every situation individually, and I tell people. Like I told people on social media, y'all all were happy and praising that I said the officer should have went to jail for Breonna Taylor. Have that same enthusiasm when I say somebody's right. Have that same enthusiasm when I say a cop did his job properly. Have the same enthusiasm. As long as I say wrong, I get 60 shares. If I say a cop is right, I'm gonna get 1 share. You know what I mean?
I got a lot of shares with George Floyd. I said that this is not police work.
Oh, that was. Hey, as a cop or as a human being, we watched him get murdered. We saw. There's no justification for what he did.
That got a lot of likes. That got a lot of this. So, for example, judge. If you're going to judge me on something, know that I'm a human being, and that I just. Even though I'm pro-cop, if I see something wrong, I have to say it's wrong.
You ain't got to be a cop to know George Floyd was murdered. That was just when you put your hands in your pocket, there's no threat. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can't put your hand in your pocket and kneel on somebody's neck for 8 minutes and thinking you call him a threat. If you're scared, your hands are far from your pocket. Mm-hmm. We know this. Come on. That was murder. That was murder if I ever seen it. That was something personal between them two. That was a personal issue.
But I don't know if that'll ever come out, but that was interesting.
We know personal, man. George Floyd was a porn star.
Each other. It's too much of a coincidence. So what do you got coming up? You got anything coming up that we should be looking out for?
No, my podcast in the fall. I got podcast in the fall. Cause it's too early for that shit. So it's supposed to be coming. I'm gonna do it in the morning because it's too early for this shit. And I'm gonna have everybody, all the people on, and people different walks of life. It's gonna be interesting to interview these people and get everybody's different perspective on different things. Not a bunch of cop issues, just life in general. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of, hey, how you think about? I ain't doing that. It's just about their lives and people backstories and stuff of that nature. Interesting stuff. People I know a female that's been shot like 10 times by her ex-boyfriend. I would love to, love to get, love to hear her whole story about what happened. And she made it through. But I just want to hear her story. I want to hear her story.
Yeah.
From beginning to end.
I found this process to be very, very interesting, and I really enjoy interviewing people.
Not therapeutic, isn't it?
Yeah, I like especially people that fascinate me, and I like as you go along doing it, you and you want to hear the story, the answer. You should shut up and just let them talk. You know what I'm saying? Right. Just hear listen. You sit like we're at a conversation at a bar or having a cup of coffee, whatever it is. And some of these people that I met, and plus with Zoom, which is good, is that you're getting to talk to people like you're in Baltimore right now.
Right.
I talk to people in LA. I talk to some lady who does something for police in Dublin, Ireland. So it's really, really, it's great that this thing came out of COVID, this Zoom, and now we're like all communicating with all people all over the world, which is like phenomenal. It's beautiful.
I'm very excited about it, man. I just want to talk to people, just regular people. I mean, not political. My stuff is not going to be political. It'd be a little bit of everything, but I just want to talk to people. Because people's backstories are amazing sometimes, Their stories of, where they came from, where they are now, what led them to where they are,
Yeah, I think that that's what our podcast basically is about basically humanizing. It's for cops. People are like, oh, you should put this person on. Like, no, this ain't about countering or European. This is for police or people that love law enforcement, love crime stories, stuff like that. It's not. This isn't that's why podcasts are good, because they're specific. Find your own show, I tell them. Oh, you should have criminals on there. If I find somebody, like I would like to, if I was going to interview anybody, I want to do that guy. They made the movie about Catch Me If You Can.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't want that real guy because he's real old. I want Leonardo DiCaprio to come in and I'll talk to him about that guy.
I forgot, yeah.
That guy's really old, but that would be an interesting thing for me.
Right.
But to just interview criminals for this, nah, man, they have their own. Do your own podcast then.
Right.
Anywho, I want to thank you guys for
all right, brother. Appreciate it.
You're a gentleman. If you need any help or got questions about putting that stuff together, and the podcast and stuff, I'll help you out. And also,
I appreciate you.
You know, let me know when you come to New York City the next time. I'll pop to the room.
It'll be the next couple of weeks, I guarantee.
If there's any gigs I can hook you up with or hook us up with, I'll be in touch.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Mark.
All right. All the best to you, your family. God bless. Stay safe.
Funny, brother.
Thanks.